Hey ladies, what are we talking about today?
Hey, you tell me.
Oh boy, so where we starting off, Money?
The little twerking 12-year-olds.
Gosh. The hot topic.
The hot topic that is
The hot girls.
the hot girls. Those are real city girls. Real city girls. We talking about Cuties on Netflix. Lord have mercy.
I have a couple questions before we get into it.
Yes, get into the ECAP. Come on, ECAP.
First, he's 11 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Where does it take place?
Oh,
It's a French film, so I believe it takes place in France. I believe it's somewhere in Europe. That's where it takes place.
Okay, and the third thing I didn't catch, did she take a picture of her cooter and post it?
Mm-hmm.
I missed that part. I missed that part. Okay.
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
So I don't even know. Okay, so let's start with the backlash, right? So literally a week ago, there was, when it came out, there was all this backlash on all social media. Apparently there was reports of Netflix losing $9 billion because people were so outraged, by this film that they deleted their accounts, and even there were people like praising people for leaving the accounts, like, yes, come to Hulu, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, Netflix. I'm just like, damn, these kids must have been having sex up in this movie.
I thought it was gonna be crazy. Like, turn it on. Nope, can't watch it.
Yeah, that's what I was. Honestly, I was expecting to cut it off. Like, I was expecting to be like, wow, I really can't watch this. But I literally watched the hour and a half, and I was like, this what y'all mad about? Like, excuse me?
And rightfully, people do have the right to be like upset.
Yeah.
I think it was up there, and it could have been like right there.
Mm-hmm.
What, the outrage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was on a 10. I think it could have been like a 7, maybe a high 6.
I felt the same way about the film, though. Like, I get the point of the film. When I watched it, I realized it wasn't just like some porno of little girls doing whatever. However, I do feel like the point could have been made about twerking 11, 12-year-olds and that whole, like, and we can get into that in a minute, that whole culture, without making it low-key soft porn. Because I'm not gonna lie, watching 11-year-old girls rub on their private parts is a lot. Watching an 11-year-old girl pull down her pants and take a picture of it, that's a lot. I'm not gonna lie about that. So that part was cringe. So I agree that the outrage was like up here, but I also feel like the point in the film could have been made a little down here.
and I disagree. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because I don't know, like my background with child welfare, but when I'm watching it, I'm like, this is what these kids are doing. Like, unfortunately, it's not just specific to this film and this, this culture. The points that I've seen from it was like, okay, this is what lack of supervision looks like with these kids.
Mm-hmm.
What, these kids are exposed to. So granted, we can't just say like, oh, this is just, it's specific to one. So like, I literally watched the film like this, like, for the whole time. Yes, it is cringy. It was cringy, but because nobody really wants to see it. But how different is that from like some of the show Dance Moms, Hit the Floor? Like, Hit the Floor, those kids were a little bit older. Those kids were older. But
their vagina like that. That was
they got a second from it.
I agree that they're a lot, but I feel like here's the thing. I can't say, and I think everybody's level of sensitivity is different. Again, you're in a career where you see like very raw situations with kids. And so I agree, this is complete reality. And I think that the film is a good film in terms of the fact that it captures like the reality of preteens and like exploring sensual,
exploring without context too. Like,
yeah, without context. And that's where you see things go wrong. And so I think that was so spot on, because I remember my preteen years. But and I do agree, there's twerking in a lot of these other shows, and it's a lot. But this was just, I ain't gonna lie, this was just a little bit different. It was just a little bit different for me. And it was uncomfortable. I mean, I'm not saying that the film was horrible. I have some other thoughts on that, but I can't sit here and say it wasn't cringy for me. I just can't.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree that it was cringy for sure.
Yeah, some parts were just a little too much. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you could be a normal person and like sit through and be like, oh wow, that was like a
Yeah.
good movie.
Like, I'm not sure that the film, but see, and then that's the thing. The film, I don't believe, was made for entertainment purposes.
No.
It was a statement piece. Like, I mean, unless, it was a statement piece, and she did make a statement with it. What I got from it was, a lot of the points that were made for me were about like child rearing and just supervision and having children and context. Like, granted, we all watched our younger siblings. Our parents all left us at home. We was those latchkey kids. We came home, you locked the door, you don't
Don't go
this
outside.
girl, that's it. Don't go outside. That's it. This girl was home with this little boy all the time. Like the part when the tub was overflowing,
Oh,
like
She locked
she locked him in.
how many cereals can I get?
He's used to it.
So it's one end, like, they have their religion and the clothes of the whores and all that stuff that they were talking about, but this child is still 11 and she's still a child.
Yeah.
So there needs to be context. Like, you can't, granted she was sneaking the phone, there's certain things, but there are certain things that as a parent you're gonna catch if you're around, and it's like the absence of her mother in that and honestly for the entire, what I was holding my breath for was for her mother to like catch her in the act of something. That's what had me. I was like, I remember being in high school, but see, I wasn't 11 sneaking around. I was in high school, go after here with my parents checking over my shoulder, but she never got caught. Like, I was just like, I would hold my breath and be like, oh, mom about to bust in. And it never happened. She was in the bathroom. Like, she was with these girls. I'm just like, okay. Oh, okay. So, okay. I guess it's never going to happen. But I think it's just a really good point about like supervision and watching what your kids do. And there is but so much you can do, but this kid had none. She was literally being taught by other unsupervised children.
Oh, yeah.
She had a whole phone. She had a whole phone.
Yeah. Yeah, that she was not supposed to have. Like, how do you, I don't even know. And then when she's getting ready, the other part of it too for me was when she did put the picture of her privates on the internet and the other girl shamed her.
Mm-hmm.
That was really interesting when they were like, no, like, that's not how we get their attention. So it's, again, the context of what we're doing. Because to these little 11-year-olds, them dancing is just them dancing. They're not thinking of it maybe in a sexual manner. But that's what this other 11-year-old is thinking. So that's why it automatically goes from, okay, these people saw my panties to like, you know what, let me show them my vagina. Like, and the other girls are like, whoa.
Slow down.
Exactly. The film honestly resonated with my personal experience. I ain't do all that. But when I moved from New York to Baltimore in my preteen years, I came into an environment where, yes, I was a latchkey kid. I rode public transportation home alone after school and all that great stuff. But even though my parents worked, I had still some form of structure where I know I would get caught in some way. Like, I just couldn't go full on crazy.
Yeah.
And so, but when I moved to Baltimore is when I started experiencing and being exposed to a group of girls who were like the girls in that film. Like, there were girls on their knees in the bathroom in the school that I went to as a preteen. And I remember the first party I went to in Baltimore, it was like a 12-year-old party or 13, and the parents, I think, were there, but I don't think they were in the room. It was like they rented out like a VFW hall, and it was what we call a freak party in Baltimore back then. It was called freaking, and it was little boys, 11, 12, 13, and little 11, 12, 13 girls up against the wall, popping on the little boys. And I just remember like, wow, like this is a whole different world. And the girls I went to school with just were very developed. They had different experiences. And I remember feeling insecure, like I wasn't mature enough. Like, Ami, that's how they say it.
Amy, yeah.
Ami. Like Ami, I remember feeling wanting to fit in and like up my game because I was skinny. I ain't had no booty and no breasts. And then I remember also there was that weird balance where if you weren't fast like them, you weren't cool. But if you went too fast, you were automatically called a hoe and isolated and shunned. And I'm like, that situation right there just resonated with me because I'm like, that is how school was when I came to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
But
Like, who making the rules? I just want to know who makes the rules.
who told you what defines a hoe? Like, but it does go back to supervision. You're right, because a lot of those girls in that group, and most of those girls in that group were of a ethnic background, except for the blonde hair girl.
Mhm.
And you can
She was trill. She was trill. She was with it.
I know the little blonde hair was a little too crunk for my
Yeah. She threw the computer. She knocked the girl over. I was like, okay.
But it showed me, like, I feel like it showed people, you know, this is what it looks like for families that don't have a lot of resources. You saw the building that Ami and the other girl that she lived in. It didn't look like the most, you know, luxurious
Projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so it just shows you how, like, families that may lack access and resources to provide a certain level of structure for their kids, this may, not saying for everybody, but this is commonly the reality for what that looks like in their lives when they're so,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Part of it too is the, like, I think in generation wise, because we're in a different generation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we was kind of scared of our parents. Like, you know what I'm saying? These kids are not scared. Like, not that I was scared, but I had that reverence. Like, you know, I knew, like, if my mom caught me doing this, she would knock my teeth out. Like, it's a wrap. These kids, they're like, well, I'm gonna just hide the phone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just, you know what I'm saying? Like, instead, and it's just like, I would rather have this acceptance from these strangers than to, you know, I'm gonna risk it. Like, when she ran from the wedding, like, it, like, she know, even though she had beef with her father or whatever, like, she just left. She was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to this dance thing because this is most important to me right now. Like, these kids, they like No Limit Soldiers. They don't care. Like,
what's gonna happen? What you gonna do? And what happened?
Nothing. Exactly the point. Like, absolutely nothing. So,
Well, she got beat. No, her mama was whooping on her at first when they
not for the whole wedding situation.
Not the wedding. I'm talking about when her mama and grandmama found her with, I guess they found out about the picture she uploaded. Her mama was wailing on her.
Her mom wailed on her for stabbing a student for real. Because she was like, you're attacking a student, and what is this I'm hearing? So it was never confirmed to her that her little cootie cat was on the internet.
I thought when she was like encompassing all the stuff the little girl was doing, but
Caught that part because I was waiting for the mother the whole episode, the whole movie. I was like, where's mom? Like, that's what I was like when I was watching. I'm like, you know, that anxious feeling that you get when you're about to get caught doing something. That's how I felt watching it. I'm like, oh, so she's just not gonna get caught. Okay.
Yeah, she was in her own world. Like, she had other stuff going on.
Yeah.
I wonder if y'all talk about the respect aspect. I wonder if she lacked respect for her parents because you notice they emphasized like the father got a second wife, and clearly that was a disappointment for the family. And I wonder if she lacked respect for them because her mom allowed her father to do what he wanted, and her father walked all over the mother.
I think part of that was cultural as well, though, because you see how, and that's the thing, because you know, I'm gonna keep it real light on the cultural part because I don't want nobody coming for me, but it's like, you know, she's outside of, they're outside, and there was a part of the movie when the child was, the aunt was telling her, carry it on her head, and she's like, we're not in Senegal, like, I'm not about to carry this on my head, you know. So it's like, yes, you tried to bring up your children in your culture and stuff, but it can't just be a like, okay, do as I say, like, this is what we're doing. Yeah, just have questions. Like,
they need to integrate it into like today's lifestyle, because some of the stuff she was telling her to do, like, I understand culture and participating in your culture, but it's 2020. Like, why this little girl got to cut all these onions, prepare all this stuff for the father wedding on her own? Like, I could understand if they were helping her with the majority of it, but everything, like, come on.
Yeah, and she still has feelings.
Yeah, and I think that's why when she sees these other young girls and all this other different stuff going on in social media, it's like, what am I doing? This is not fair. How come I can't be a kid like these other kids? But then when she is a kid like them, she's realizing, like, this is grown stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Like, it's no context. Again, no context. It's just like she's just kind of being thrown around. Like, yeah, that whole onion thing, and then the whole thing with the blanket and the aunt's like, I'm wishing that for you, and she's looking at her like, excuse me, like what? And the scene when she was under the bed crying with her mother, again, is another thing of supervision. But I think that was also influencing her to want to do whatever, like have that freedom, that sexual freedom, because like the scene, I'm sorry, but the scene where she was on the phone with her father and she dropped the phone out the window, I was here for it.
yeah.
Like, we would have got knocked out, but she was like, you know what? I'm not talking to him. Hello? Click, and dropped it out the window. Bye.
She was so bold. She was so bold in so many moments in that movie. I was like, this girl acts timid, but she is bold, honey.
It is literally an act.
So bold. I feel like back to the cultural piece.
Mm-hmm.
So what originally sparked outrage, because most people didn't even watch the movie. Let's talk
They
about
sure didn't. There's no way they watched it.
the reaction was really to the image that Netflix first had up there, and then they switched it. So at first was them in those blue outfits.
Yeah.
And they switched it to like some selfies or something. And don't get me wrong, I completely understand why people would be caught off guard by that. Let's be real. We see a little girl walking down the street in booty shorts and a crop top. We all gonna do a double take because nobody wants to see a child dressed or acting like that. Nobody
with sense.
No, exactly. Yes. Exactly.
Add that little part.
At that part. But when I realized, so I Googled the film and I learned before I watched it, it was a French film.
Mm-hmm.
And that it was, it originally was screened during film festivals. So one, film festival culture, I think there was no outrage because people know in film festival culture, you see all types of artistic, deep message type stuff that just may be a little traumatic when you watch it. So that was number one. But two, I think that, in other parts of the world, kids are looked at a little bit more mature.
Mm-hmm.
Looked at as older. And so seeing films, I'm not saying that they accept that behavior in other parts of the world, because you see when they were dancing, the adults were booing.
Yes.
Which I'm glad, because at first I thought they were clapping when they first went up there. And I was like, oh no. But I think that the United States, we have such a pedophile culture that we just react to anything that sexualizes children or exposes children.
Well, we want to.
Yes, even with a little girl in advertisements all dressed up, if she got too much makeup on, it's like outrage in the United States. But in Europe, I feel like, and again, I'm speaking on a culture I'm not really a part of, so I'm adding that disclaimer. But I feel like I know that, the legal drinking age is a lot younger. Like just when I was over there, youth just seemed very mature and a lot more adult-like. I don't know how else to say it. Mm-hmm. So I can see why there may not have been, and I'm actually kind of curious to see if there was any outrage, but I didn't hear any when I Googled it. I can see why there wasn't outrage on that side of the world as much as there was here.
Yeah.
Because they probably understood the concept of the film and stuff like that. So that's just how I feel about the United States. We have a very cancel culture type of mentality.
Yeah, everything is so, people were just, I'm still annoyed by the amount of outrage. Again, it is cringy. I'm not going to sit here and be like, just because I see crazy stuff every day means that it's like, oh, that ain't nothing. It was cringy, but like really, like, there's a lot of other stuff for y'all to be trying to cancel other than this movie. Like,
yeah,
try to take a different perspective, sit down and look at it, because you got to look, because it's in French, which I found out when I watched it.
Like, put the subtitles on.
Yeah, I had the subtitles. I was like, okay.
Which they did not match the words at all. It was so funny.
Yeah.
The interpretation was not horrible, but it wasn't the best.
Yeah. I think the only part that was like really was the numbers. I was like, oh, I know the numbers.
I think it would have been worse if it was like a reality, like dance competition, and these girls were doing that. But I think it was more of like a thinking piece for you to just think and analyze and like just take everything in.
Mm-hmm. And see, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was going to be like this dance competition with these girls scantily clad and rubbing on their things for the whole movie, but it was a lot more to that. So I would say watch. It's only an hour and a half, and there's a whole bunch, and we will be here for our entire time if we really broke it down. But speaking of the respect factor, when we talk about you know, respect in children and reverence and all that stuff, would we say that, well, the question is, would we say that respect is subjective? Like, just in this, okay, so for example, like I see a lot on social media of like these rappers with their women that they refer to as like, I'm gonna say women, but you know, I saw something the other day, well, I think his name is Lil Baby with Jada, whatever, something like, oh, something, my bitch, like, and I'm just like, it's so cringy to me. Like, it is so, I feel like, and that's why I'm asking, because it's like glorified in one area of the world, and then it's like what, so is it subjective? Is it like per person? Like, is it okay for, what could we say that being referred to as my bitch is respect, or do they think it's respect? Because to me it's not. Like,
I think it depends on the person, because you could be around one group of friends that say a certain word and it's okay with them, but then if somebody comes around me and says that, I'm like, what? Who are you? That's not my name. Like, don't talk to me like that. Like, I think it depends on the person. Don't call me out my name, especially if you don't know me like that.
Egypt has spoken.
yeah.
For everybody watching.
Don't call me my name. My name is Egypt. That's it.
Don't call me on my name. I ain't mad at you, girl.
So it is. I just think it's so. I think it's crazy though, because for example, like, okay, West Indian culture. You greet.
Oh gosh.
Text message. You know, good morning, good afternoon, hello, good night. Like, they're like, people, like when they text me, clients or whatever, like they'll text me and they'll just be like, hey, can we do this? I'm like, good morning. Like, don't be texting my phone without greeting me. Like, I have a problem with that. And I make it, you know, they get that good morning to hello, good morning. Then I wait a little minute to, and I've had a couple of them, well, that's just a boundary I set. But I've had a couple of them text me back like, oh, I'm sorry. Forgiven. Don't make it happen again. Like, it's just respect to me. Like, you're not just about to hop on my phone and be demanding and requesting stuff, like, without telling me good morning.
Even just a little GM, like, that's it.
Even the GM, I'll take the GM. Like, I'll take it. But I just feel like you just, I equate it to you just busting in the door and being like, are y'all ready to go? Like, how are you?
I feel like Egypt's a GM person. Do you say GM when you text people?
Egypt's a GM person.
But I'm also rude too. Sometimes I just start by texting.
I'm also rude too.
But if you know me, then that's how I am. But it's not like I'm trying to be rude on purpose.
No, I don't think any. I mean, if somebody thinks that Egypt's trying to be rude on purpose, then you must have did something.
No, exactly.
Then you really don't know her, for real. You really don't know her, like she said.
I don't think that respect is subjective. I think that everybody has different levels of respect based off of their environment and how they were raised, or whatever their triggers are. So for me, back in the day, I used to hate being called the B word, bitch. Excuse me. I don't know if we were cussing, but I used to hate being called the B word.
We could say that.
It's a dog. It's a dog.
Yeah.
Girls, you know, but I hate it, you know, whatever. And so I used to and I've learned to fine tune my bluntness. We talk about West Indian culture. I was raised around bluntness, but I used to be real quick with the don't call me that. That's not my name. Do not call me that. Like, I hated that. Now, as I grew, I don't care no more. I'm quick with a good B word. Like, hey, bitch. Like, I'm just gonna be honest.
See, and I think it goes back to like what Egypt was saying, like, because we, you know, that's how we are. Like, we'll be like, man, let me tell you, you know, you heard me get the headphones because I heard it's about to be some tea.
Yeah, context and how well you know the person.
That's another thing. And people don't have boundaries. Like, I will not call somebody I do not know or have a very, very close relationship with that. And even certain people, like, depending on who they are in my life and how they, you know, go about things, there's certain people I just don't call that. And I want that same respect. If I don't know you like that, that B word is from the gut. It ain't no friendly B word. So that, I do definitely think everybody has what they consider respectful and what they don't consider respectful.
Yeah.
X.
So. I just be watching and cringing sometimes. Like,
Yeah, I still stand by this, and some people can disagree with me, but I don't care. I don't like men calling women the B word. I feel like women can call women the B word, but men can't. The same way Black people can call each other the N word, and some people don't agree with me on this,
And
but
that's too
the
bad.
white person can't say it. It's just like a cultural community thing. Like I would never say the F word to a gay person. Like it's just, but they can say it to each other if they want. Like that's how I feel about respect too.
So
Is
then the answer is yes, it is subjective.
yeah, and know your lane. I think people need to know their lane when it comes to
Boundary part of
respect.
it, yes.
No.
Not only, and the reason that came up too is because, like, I mean, I'm grown, so like we all grown, but I always consider like younger generations, especially like I like Ratchet TV. I sit and watch Love and Hip Hop. I don't care. Like I watch Ratchet TV. But what I always think about when I watch it is like some of these narratives, like I know this is unacceptable and this is TV, but a lot of these children, they don't. And it's like this is the next generation coming up. This is what they're being influenced by. And that just always bothers me. That's why I always ask these questions like, is this like I'm enjoying my Ratchet, but then I'm like, there's really girls out here thinking that like a Stevie J or a Peter Gunn's narrative when you got 10 kids with 16 different women is okay. Like, and it's not like obviously, but then is it? Because now look, this is how I make my living off of my story. So I just like always have a problem with
Well,
it.
they shouldn't be watching it. When people always be like, kids are watching this, I'm like, well, you as a parent needs to put some parental controls on the television.
Exactly.
Like, the same thing with Cardi B and WAP. Everybody's like, oh, she wouldn't want her 2-year-old to listen to it. No, and she don't want yours neither. Like,
Right.
And when I say kids, I don't mean them. I mean like teenagers because they're at an impressionable time as well. Like, so
yeah,
I do agree. Of course it's not my responsibility. Like I can't save everybody out here. None of us can. But it's just like there's people watching this thinking like, just that whole toxic narrative, like what we see on social media, like, whatever. But
It's like Cuties. Like, watch your children, watch your teenagers. Like, you need to be involved in their life because it's so much easier to get caught up now.
it is. And the thing is, you still, and the thing is adding the context because yeah, you could take your kid's phone, but they're gonna go right outside. They're gonna go to school and see, and it's gonna be right there for them. Like, I mean, these kids with their iPads at school, they ain't as locked as people think they are. Okay, so let's just like, there's always gonna be a way, but it's about the context that you add to it, the discipline, and what you want to make sure that your child is like low key scared of, so that they don't do it.
I feel like with respect, how do you, because going back to the point of like everybody has a different idea what respect is based on how they're raised. Obviously, you're gonna grow up and you're gonna be around other people who aren't raised like you. And so, like for me, now that I'm older, I learned that ways that I felt disrespected in the past, I didn't handle that the best way because I didn't take into account someone else was raised differently than me.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm older, I'm like, oh, we all was raised different. And so the question then begins, how do you decipher when someone is intentionally disrespecting you or when you just have different values? And how do you handle that? Because I don't think a lot of people handle that too well, to be honest with you, me being one of them.
I think it's after you lay down the boundary. I think once you're informed, and then after that, it becomes disrespect because you're informed. Yeah. So like, I'm not going to keep telling you 15 and 16 times that something is disrespectful. I'm going to tell you maybe once, and if I care enough, twice. Because coming into new environments, meeting new people, learning, and literally it might be a new thing to you, so that's fine. But after the boundary is introduced, like you said, like somebody call you out your name, you say, don't call me that. We're not cool like that. Or maybe we're not cool like that yet. But, and then if that, oh girl, well, bitch, okay, well, now it's disrespectful because I already let you know what my boundary is. Mm-hmm. So that's where it is. Because and me and Lonnie have had that conversation a lot. Like, we have to like keep in mind, like, people were not raised the way you were individually. They may not be as compassionate or empathetic or just respectful as you are. So it's about like introducing it to them if you care enough. Like, again, it's not your responsibility. It's if you care. But then after that, it's a wrap. Like, whatever happens, happens.
Time is is a big topic of discussion for respect because everybody values time differently. There are some people that when someone is late or not on time, they get like really upset, and it's like the most disrespectful thing in the world. Like it breaks friendships. And then there are people like me who don't really care, and maybe because I'm always late. I mean, I try to be on time, but so it's like in situations like that, I always feel like that's a hard balance. And there are people in this world who are very okay with only being associated with people who think like them. But then there are people who want to associate with people outside of their circle, but they may struggle with some of the other values or lack of values that, not say lack of values, lack of shared or common values that that person may have. So that's a struggle. It's not always so easy at setting boundaries because if you have a friend that has a different value system than you, but you really value that friend, that could be hard. That could really be hard.
I don't know if it's, I promise the universe just be moving in a certain way. Every week I have I feel as like a therapist, I have a topic that I talk to all of my clients, different walks of life. And that was the topic this week, like social boundaries. Like, how do you know? Like some people that are like maturing with the same group of friends, like now they're starting to get on my nerves. Like, how do I handle that? Because we were all immature at one point. So now is it that I'm growing, I'm just done? Like it is very, very difficult. But at the same time, like that, and the answer I gave, that just is a general answer, you know, and more so for coming into new situations.
Yeah.
The ones that are like, you know, 20 years in the making, 10 years in the making or whatever, or family, which is like a whole other thing. Yeah, it's tough.
Somebody values something different than you and you find it disrespectful, but they don't. That's a tough situation, you know?
So then it's not about, I don't think it's about making allowances for people, but it's maybe coming to a common ground. Like coming to a common ground and having that conversation. Like we're not trying to like understand why you don't or why I don't. We're just going to say like, okay, you know what? This don't make no damn sense to me. And to them, it may be the same thing. But if we have other goals, you know, common shared goals and values, then okay, we'll just stick it to that. To that. And then in that too, you know, like, okay, I know that I can't invite you around these group of people. I know you might be my movie friend, you might be my beach friend, you might be my party friend, you know. So
yeah,
it's hard. Maneuvering through social relationships is like the hardest thing, and that's why I have a job, so I'm kind of happy about it.
It's good to have those different kind of friends because life would be boring if everyone was like you. Like it would be boring. Like you do the same thing over and over. Oh, what do you like? What do you like? Oh, let's do this. Let's do that. Like explore, do something different, learn about someone else's culture. Like
that part.
Shake it up.
I always tell people, check your value system because I was that type of person, using myself as an example, where everything bothered me. I was a little too serious about life. And sometimes you have to sit back and reevaluate that. Yeah, some things may rub you the wrong way or may not, but it's really important to really comb through your value system. Think about what's a priority and a non-negotiable. And then think about stuff that really don't matter. And maybe you're making a big deal out of it to self-sabotage, genuine friendships, which, is more common than people think. And so I had to do that, like even in like relationships, like romantic relationships, like check my value system. I'm tripping off of this element of the relationship and considering it disrespectful. Why? Because I was told it was. Does it really bother me? You know what I mean? And so I have to constantly check my value system because social media, family, friends will sometimes influence what you feel bothered by. And then sometimes you have to think like, is this really worth the fight or ending a relationship over? No.
Yeah.
So I think that definitely, in my opinion, helps when you have different people that have different levels of respect, is just reevaluating what you value.
I think it's also helpful to have groups like this one to have those conversations with, because what you just said, like, me and Monty have had this conversation. Me and Egypt just this week had these conversations. Like, it's like, I'm so blessed to be able to have people like this in my life that will, and that will check me as well. But, ain't nobody asked, but I know you didn't ask me, but I don't think, et cetera, et cetera. But
Say that.
like, I think having these conversations and having people in your life that you can check yourself with, like, the the most famous one. Tell me if I'm tripping. Like, am I tripping? And I make that call a lot.
That bitch.
Yeah, and let me tell y'all something. Imani is the one. I had to, one time I called her, I was hot. And she was like, well, actually, Kiana, I'm like, you know what? I gotta go. I'm trying to be mad right now. And you is really like, not like, I called you for backup, bitch. Like, what, bitch? I called you for backup.
So even so, one time in the group chat, Imani is the person that's gonna check you. Imani always checking somebody.
Really is. Like,
No, you gotta have that person.
yeah. Yeah, and knowing that it comes from a place of love too. Like, it's not just like she's just not sitting up on a pedestal. Like,
Right.
I always put myself in a situation. That's one thing I always do is like I'll use myself as an example before anyone else because you should know like I can relate to that and I'm struggling with that too. So
yeah, it's like, so just have good people in your life, y'all. Like, if I had nothing else to say, like, you have to have good people in your life because
you can't have us. No, I'm just kidding.
no, you can't. We're full, the roster's full. Okay. Yeah. The what is it? Oh, how does it go? Something tic-tac, the game is closed, nobody else can play. Yep, yeah.
I never heard of that.
You never played that in the schoolyard?
No.
Double Dutch? What? And the game is closed, nobody else can't get a jump, nobody else can't get a turn? No? Okay.
I'm a little younger than kids, so maybe just kidding.
Is that how you lock the game?
Don't do it. Y'all never did that? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
is that how you lock the game?
Yeah, we lock the game. Like, once we go out into the schoolyard with the double Dutch rope, and you pick who's gonna turn and and after that, I'm gonna put it in the comments on YouTube or on Instagram. I forgot how it goes, but it's something like something. The game is locked, nobody else could play, and if we do, we'll tie your shoe or some little riddle or something like that.
That made all the rule is of locking games.
If we let everybody get a jump, we're not gonna be able to do our thing.
Because in Brooklyn, we'll just be like, no more. Like, we close. Like, that's it. Straight up. Tic-tac-toe, 3 in a row, you gotta go.
We ain't had no nursery rhyme to go with it.
We had a nursery rhyme, and it was legit too, because if somebody come for a jump and be like, the game is locked, I mean, like, it was for real. It was for real. Like, it was for real. Like,
no game anyway.
Right? Man, try to get here earlier. Y'all know we meet at this spot to do double Dutch was a real thing. Like, it was a big deal in the schoolyard. Like,
I don't think I could double Dutch anymore. I can't even jump.
And the thing is, and it's funny because I have all this mouth and I couldn't jump. I used to be a swift turner though.
I can't turn to save my life. I want to call it double.
You was double-handed?
My mom could double Dutch really well. And if I would turn, I'm about to turn, but she's like, you double-handed, get out the way. I'm double-handed. I cannot turn.
Oh my gosh.
That is so funny.
We had a team. People would come to our block and battle.
I was serious.
It was lit.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. That's somebody, everybody's like childhood like experience was different, but it's still like that seriousness of double Dutch. Like, if you can't turn, if you can't jump, hurry up because you know, get out the way. So, but that straight route, what? I used to be jumping in, out. Oh, I was with it. I was with it. So, on to our last topic. I don't really know how this ties in. I'm sure we'll find a way. But being respect and locking the game, because this game right here, I'm gonna tell you, Shea Boulevard is locked. Okay. So, but it is being the plug. Ugh. It's like
they're always asking you for stuff.
Yeah. Like I saw this this I don't find her funny, so I'm not gonna name her. But there was this girl on Instagram. I'm not gonna name her, and she got too much controversy with her. So she was talking one time about people, hitting her up in her DM, like, how you do this, how you do that. And she was like, I don't have to give y'all this information. Right. Like, I feel like there's a line. There's a line where, people feel, especially in the Black community, like, oh, come on, you like, you the Negro that made it, so you got to pull us all up. Where it's like, no, I'm the Negro that paid to go to school, paid for this resource, paid for that resource, and now it's you coming along like, oh, I want to do that too. Okay, well, if you want it, you will go get it, like I did. Okay, like it's so funny to me sometimes. Like people will tell me, like, if I talk about being a therapist or whatever, like, oh, I just want to do that. Like, I always wanted to do that. And honestly, it kind of annoys me because I'm just like, then you would have done it. Like, this is not I'm not no overnight therapist. Like, this took a long time and I'm still in it, like, still trying to get better, still trying to do my own thing. But it's just like that just annoys me.
It's like too. Like when people, oh, I want to be. I'm like,
okay, like what, like, okay, so do it, like, do, or like, if you want to ask me a question, ask me a question. Like, I would never say, like, I'm not going to help somebody up until a certain point. Like, the most I will do is say, like, and depending on who or what the situation is, like, okay, well, make sure you look really good, or make sure you know exactly what you want, or maybe I use this resource depending on what it is. But other than that, like, I don't think it's selfish to not want to give up your whole game plan, because listen, again, when you pay somebody for a service, you're not paying them just for that service. Like, you are paying them for the time that they invested in getting to that level that they're at.
Exactly.
It's not just about, I'm not going to give you the quick answer, because it took me 3 years to find it myself.
mm-hmm.
And when I found it, obviously I made sure that I made the very best of it. So, and if I give you all the gems, like, it's really, you're not gonna know if it's really worth it to you, because you didn't have to work for it. I just gave you the answer.
Yeah.
So
I feel that way, not so much about my career, because I love giving like career plugs and stuff like that, but about like things and items that I have in here. And like people always be like, I hate the stuck up girl that never wants to share. And I'm like, I'm not obligated, boo. And maybe because I'm such a research person, like anything I want, anything I want to know, anything I want to have, I literally go get it on my own. I research, I Google. I'm such a stumble upon type of girl. And so, because even when I see things like on people's pages or on social media, I'm not the type of person that's sliding in DMs, but like, oh, where'd you get that? Or what you doing? Like, very rarely will I do. Unless it's like a friend who's constantly hitting me up about stuff, then I'll be like, well, I'm always plugging in, like, whatever.
right.
I'm the type of person to screenshot it and look for it myself. Like, that's just me.
It's the real thing.
And so when people are like always flooding me with questions about where I got something, and I get it, sometimes I don't mind sharing, but it does get overwhelming and annoying, especially when it's the same person. There was this one girl where everything I had, everywhere I went, it wasn't even hello, how you doing?
The greeting, good afternoon, how are you?
Get that? Where is that? I want to do this too. And it felt like, can I have a life that I can share on social media without people trying to replicate it?
You popping.
I don't want to sound, I'm really not trying to sound popping. I'm really not. Like, this is not I'm sure a lot of women and maybe even men can relate to this, but yes, I share a lot on social media. I do. And when I want to plug, I will plug. But there are just some things that, like, I'm just posting, and it just gets overwhelming when you're constantly asked about every little thing you have and do. And that one girl, yes, I'm going back to her, everything. I'm like, do you just want my life? Like, come on. Asking for stuff for free at this point. I'm about to be a dealer and pay. This girl found on social media that got her body done. Let me tell you, people, she made people cash app her just for her doctor's name and information. I said, I know that's right. You did your own research, and people gonna ask you, oh, who did your body, girl? She made people pay for it, and they did.
And they did.
I'm not mad.
Amani, the girl that be asking you everything, does she act on it? Does she actually get the stuff she be asking you about?
I don't know, because I don't look at her life to know. And probably not, to be honest. Sometimes people just want to know. Sometimes people just want to know. And that's another thing that bothers me, is you're not about to do nothing with this information. You just want to know my life.
Yeah.
So it sounds mean. I know this sounds very mean girlish, and trust me, I don't want to be a mean girl, but I feel like some people got to feel me on how annoying or overwhelming it could be when people are like, constantly, especially when it's someone who's constantly doing it, just research it yourself, what park I'm at.
Yeah.
Or if you want to, did you want to do this until you saw me do it? Like, come on, like, talk about.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I don't know. The only thing I'm really down for sharing is recipes. Like, that's
You said nothing else.
recipes and Amazon. Got it on Amazon.
I love it.
Like the one he said, Google, literally. If you like this top, let me go on Amazon, snakeskin top. Let me go on Google, snakeskin top. It's so easy. It's
Yeah. And it's fine to be influenced. It's completely fine. Like, I mean, that's what we do. Like, we're mini influencers. That's what we are doing. Like, we're having people are looking at us like, oh, maybe I want to paint my wall like this. Maybe I want glasses like that. Maybe I want a snakeskin top. Like, but like, okay, like little stuff like that. But like, damn, everything.
And, sometimes it's nice to just compliment people without asking for stuff. For example, when Egypt got on the computer, I was like, girl, we get that romper for him. It literally was like, girl, that is so cute. And it was that. Because, like, let her have her moment to be cute and just get a compliment and stunt. Like, sometimes people just want to stunt.
Yeah.
At their nail salon or with their hairstylist, and they don't want somebody, where you at, girl? Like, just let people.
You know what else, too? Now that you said that, too, is... like, let people stunt, but the thing is, too, go ahead and give them a follow or a like. Like, that'd be my thing. Like, ooh, like, you're like, oh, how y'all do this? How y'all did that? Did you watch the episode?
on the page. So many questions, so many DMs. You gonna follow me or not?
And it's like, when I go look, like, you didn't like nothing. And the thing is, I know you see me. Because I see you seeing me. Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, I see your retweets. I see you on my story. Instagram story, tell me when you watching, and I know you watching.
You've been watching.
Tell me when you watching. What you said, Money? I mean, Egypt?
You've been watching Martin?
No.
You sound I know.
I'm just saying, like, I just hate that. Like, it's like you don't follow, you don't want to support, you want to buy something before you ask, like, at least buy something, damn.
Well, like, there's people that be in my DMs that have never commented publicly on, like, a picture I post. And I'm not saying I'm looking for comments. Let me be clear with y'all. I post my pictures for me.
For me. It's the me for me.
However, do not be in my DM asking me everything about where I get this, what I do. And you don't engage with any of my posts. I got like 5,000 blog platforms and you ain't really engaging with none of them, but you all in my DMs asking me questions. Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. I think it's just fair. Like, granted, again, the things we do, the way we dress, even this, like, yes, it's for y'all, but it's for us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we do this because we want to do it. And again, like, all the pages I got, just give it a follow. It ain't gonna kill you. It ain't gonna kill you.
No, we want more than follows. Engage. Because what you looking at my stuff.
I do want you to engage. Especially if you're about to ask me a question. You need to go ahead and engage. Like,
give me a heart eyes or something. Answer, when I put a poll up, answer a question. Like, again, reshare my stuff. Like,
that'd be it. That'd be the thing. Like, I'll put up a poll. I'll put up a picture and the poll and then my picture. You bypass the poll to ask me a question.
Yes.
You could just...
I saw you looking. You could yes or no.
And like, people kill me when they be like, oh, when people think I'm looking at their stories,
you are looking.
You're looking. What is this problem if you're looking? Like, I don't care. I'm looking. Like, I don't care.
Sometimes I do tap through.
Sometimes we do tap through, but then we're also not asking questions on, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, where you get that? Where's that? How you do that? Da, 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 da. Like,
girl, y'all, that's one. Like, we have differing opinions, but then we have same opinions on certain things. And I think this is like our one thing where we're like, yo, because I'm with y'all. I cannot stand people that's always asking for something, but don't really bang with you any other aspect unless they asking you for something.
Yeah.
Can't even tell you pretty, but want to know where you got your wig from.
Did they like the picture?
I'm sorry.
Where you get your wig from?
Yeah, like,
you answer that first.
Give me
Yeah,
some
like
eyes or something.
something. Like it's not a compliment for you to ask me where I got it from. It's a compliment for you to tell me it looks nice on me. And I'm not trust. Ain't nobody fishing for a compliment over here. I'm good.
My man gives me those. I'm okay.
Right? I don't got one, so I'll be giving them to myself right now. But yeah, okay, like I'm just like I'm not looking for a compliment, but it's
My friends.
say it again.
Before it was my man, it was my friends. I didn't want to leave nobody out. Go ahead.
And it still is, girl. Like, but yeah, I'm not fishing for a compliment, but it's the principle. It's the principle. Like, you can't even tell me my edges is laid. You can't even tell me my curls is popping. But like, oh, what you use? Thanks. Like,
I used what you used on yours last week.
The generic answer, eco styler.
What's our other generic answer we be giving? Well, no, let's not give people lying.
I don't tell all secrets.
We ain't gonna tell our code. No, we got a code.
Woo, shady in here, child. Woo-hoo.
Y'all game, we be playing it.
Eco styler is clutch though. I'm not gonna lie. It's clutch. It be coming through.
It does.
That is too funny. That is too funny. Anyway, ladies.
This was definitely shady.
This was the shadiest, I think. I think this was the
My
shadiest.
glass is fogging up. Shady.
Come for the tea, stay for the shade. Trying to get hot here. Got my fan on. It's like, who is hot today?
And we're not even really that shady or always shady, but when we do get,
it gets bad. It gets dark. It gets pitch black up in here.
and it don't even be on no like petty stuff like we just being
Oh.
shady girls. It be stuff we really feel like, yo.
Listen, like our group chat. Our group chat is the place to go. Like, especially like middle of the day, that voice. Let me tell y'all, like that's where I know I could go. Where like, you know what? Even if this is like the stupidest thing, I know they gonna hear me. If don't nobody else hear me, I know they gonna hear me. Even if it is stupid, they gonna tell me. They gonna hear me, but then they gonna tell me it's stupid, and that's fine. At least I got it off my chest. I don't care.
Right. But we be hyping each other up though. We be like, no, that was real time. Like, no, you was sometimes we be hyping. Like,
see, but you know what it is? We all check ourselves. Like we're all, especially Egypt. Egypt be like, am I tripping? Is it me? Am I tripping? Am I the one? Or I be like, no, girl.
I really be wanting to know. Like, I really be wanting to know. Because if I am, then I need to check myself. Like, you know what? I know. I like know when to acknowledge it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know how to take accountability. But sometimes you don't want to take accountability. Sometimes you just want to be like, I don't want to tell this girl why I got my hair done. Am I wrong? No, you ain't wrong, girl. Don't tell her.
Like, listen, if she could search the listen, and again, when I'm researching, I'm really researching. Like,
Girl.
I'm in hashtags.
I'm zooming in your glasses.
I'm deep in the hashtags. Like, they not there for razzle dazzle. They there for a reason. Like, I'm deep in them. So yeah, you need to get in there too. You need to get your feet dirty, get your hands dirty, like me too. Okay.
Mm-hmm. The same way y'all investigate y'all men, you can investigate where I be at.
And the thing is, I tag my location. He ain't tagging his, but you can figure it out. So if you like, again, it's really about what you want. It's really about how hard you're gonna work for something, because life ain't nothing but one big hazing situation. How hard you gonna work for this? How hard you gonna work for it? Are you just gonna ask questions, get the answers, and then sit on it, or are you gonna go out there, figure it out, and put what you got to use?
Exactly.
You want instant gratification. I ain't got time for it.
And that's not real. It only literally works on Instagram. That's it. Not in our DMs though.
I'm gonna say not in my page.
Not on my page. Just not on my page. Not on these pages. With a lot of S's over here. But anyway, ladies, so this is our season finale for now. I want to say. So but stay tuned, because we got some other stuff coming up, some other fun stuff coming up. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram. Okay.